Hey guys, this is What If Deku Had the Blue Beetle Scarab. Bro, I freaking love this What If idea, and I hope you guys do too. And it is somewhat inspired by the, new coming of the Blue Beetle movie. But honestly, I loved Blue Beetle's character for way longer before this movie got announced. And Blue Beetle's character, I fell in love with his character as soon as I saw him in Batman Braver Than Bold and also Young Justice. So let's just dive right into this fanfiction of what if Deku was Blue Beetle or had the Blue Beetle Scarab. Let's dive right into it. Now we start our story off with Deku's past and how he would come to be or come into, contact with the Scarab. Now in this world, it would have been different. In this world, Deku would have been born on Island, as Deku's life would have been filled with science and wonders, as Deku's father would have been a top-tier scientist working alongside David Shield, Melissa's father on Island, as Deku would have grown up as, being a friend of Melissa, being her friend, and automatically them going through, elementary school together and just overall having a good childhood together. But as time turned, Deku became 5 years old. And right when this happened, Deku's father had a big breakthrough or some sort of technology for, some sort of support item for a very top tier hero. But he was able to move to Japan. Him moving to Japan for a work type of thing, as Inko and him made the decision and told Deku about it, saying that Deku would be the best and that would give Deku's father a bigger chance to spread and fast his technology around the world of Japan, and also give this family a lot more money in the bread bank. So Deku's father told him this. Now Deku had to say goodbye to Melissa and goodbye to David Shield, but he was happy he was still with his parents. But he was still kind of sad that he lost his number one friend. And the only friend he knew that was Quirk was just like him. But Deku would have moved to Japan. This would have happened about a year after Deku was pronounced Quirkless. Now during this time, David Shield would have visited Japan then and there to work aside Hasashi to talk about a top tier or a top secret type of project they were working on since and before Melissa and Deku were even born. We switch years later, as Deku's life would go similar the same. Deku would be bullied a lot, but majority of the time, when time was going good and every time on the holidays, Melissa would visit him and they would have a okay relationship. By the time Deku turned 14, for a solid couple years, Deku didn't really see Melissa that much. By the time Deku turned 15, on his 15th birthday, this happening right on the day he would have left school for the 10-month art training, as Deku would have been about 15, him turning 15 that day. Deku would have walked home. As he was walking home, he would have came across a sludge villain, as everything would have gone somewhat the same, but it really changing drastically after All Might would have jumped off. Deku wouldn't have grabbed All Might, as Deku would be a little bit more independent, as Deku would actually have two goals, as he wanted to be a scientist like his father, but also had a dream of becoming a pro hero. But he didn't know which one he really wanted to, go after or achieve. Deku would have walked home, as he would eventually cross by his father's, laboratory or lab or facility. As he would have looked over, as he was about to think about maybe, checking in on his dad, as he would have walked near the door or the exit, as he would have heard a huge burst of some sort of electricity and also a laser blast, as Deku would have busted through the door, as he would have seen smoke and fire everywhere, as he would have seen basically, David on the floor. As Deku would have ran over to David, trying to check on his, ratings, as David was passed out, but also his left leg was cut clean off, and sutured as well, burnt, like the blade was some sort of made out of fire or something. As Deku would have looked around, and he would have hauled David's body outside the burning building, as he would have looked around for his father, as he would have ran up the stairs everywhere, covering his mouth with his hoodie around his face, as Deku would have had a hoodie on. At the school he was at, in this canon, they would have had free, clothing. So Deku would have had, sweatpants, a hoodie, and his OG red shoes. Deku would have been running up the stairs, eventually coming across, his father. as his father would have been running away from some sort of masked entity, some sort of entity covered in black metal or some sort of black armor. As this entity would have had a cloak on as well, but he would have seen through the cloak, seen bits of black and grayish armor. As Deku would have ran over there trying to get in the middle of the fight, as this assailant or mystery person would have grabbed Deku, throwing him through another wall, making Deku break his arm, Deku being on the floor knocked out. Deku waking up minutes later as he would have heard a huge blood-curdling scream as he would have ran over. As he would have ran out the building, thinking he heard the building or heard the, scream outside, as all he would hear is a huge thud. As he would have looked behind him, seeing his father's dead corpse behind him, as he would have fell off the top of the roof. As his masked assailant would have yelled out a rage-filled yell, as he would have flew off with some sort of blaster or propulsor type power. As he would have looked around, Deku being completely shocked and filled with complete and utter pain. His father was dead. As he would have looked closer, as he would have looked over a couple feet away, as through a broken glass window near the facility, he would have seen some sort of scarab that, by the looks of the glass shattered, it was thrown through the window of the top floor, like he was trying to, or his father was trying to get away from the masked assailant. Deku would have gotten closer to it, as soon as it got into a foot radius of Deku would have seen it would jump to life, it glowing as it would have jumped in Deku's hand. Deku would have been yelling out in pain, as it would have started to clench on his skin, clawing up his body and embedding itself on his back. Deku yelling out in pain and eventually passing out by the pain and the, intensity of the pain. As Deku would have passed out, police would have showed up minutes later, and some pro heroes as well, as we would have seen Deku wake up in the hospital. Now, the police, for some odd reason, they couldn't find the scarab on the back of Deku's body. As the scarab, for some reason or somehow, some way, has some sort of camouflage ability that can only use on itself. But it's simple, Deku's, Scarab has a lot more extra abilities that the original DC Comics Scarab doesn't have. That was just convenient for plot-wise. But we would see that Deku would have woken up in the hospital. As he would have looked around, as he would have went into his, bathroom, as he would have turned on the lights. Looking at himself in the mirror, as he would have taken his gown off, him looking at his back, as he would have seen nothing, but when he felt it was something there. As he would have looked back after he felt his back, him seeing the scarab embedded on his spine. As Deku would start to freak out, trying to grab a nearby box or even a plunger, trying to knock the thing off of his back, but it wasn't budging. It was like a part of his skin, like a piece of bone sticking out. It was unable to be moved off of his body without hurting him. As Deku looked closer, trying to examine it, as eventually it would have flickered, as he would have heard a voice in his head, as Deku would have been greeted with, "Hello, Azuka Midoriya. I've been going through your memories since you've been asleep after I embedded myself into you." Deku starting to freak out, him falling over into the shower, pulling down curtains. As he would have gotten up, running out of the bathroom, yelling for some help, but majority of everybody there, the staff, was out for the day. It was like midnight. So Deku started to freak out, like what's going on? What's happening to him? But Deku would have been greeted with silence, and eventually the Scarab would have talked again. As it would have tried to calm down Deku, saying to shut up, human, as I am a part of you. We are one. As the Scarab would have been kind of pissed off for some reason, as it would have nodded to the fact that it should have been in control of him. As the Scarab would have started to talk to himself out loud in Deku's head, saying, I should have been able to control him. How does he still have free consciousness? He should have been a body, a meat suit for me to use as a puppet. But for some reason, his willpower is strong. As Deku would have been confused, saying, what? You're trying to take over me? As Deku would have tried to rip the Scarab off of his spine yet again. As the Scarab would have told him, no, you can't take me off. Unless someone pries it off your dead body, this thing, me, I'm not coming off of you. As Deku is pissed off and also in distraught and in fear. As Deku is completely scared what's going on. As the Scarab tells him that I was just awakened only a few hours ago. and you were the first person I bonded with. Your DNA. In your world, quirks are things, superpowered individuals. I was a part of that world once. I did have somebody I attached to years on this planet, years ago on this planet. The Blue Beetle, he called himself. He was a hero on this planet. But when I came to this planet, I was corrupted. Now I see that humanity should be eradicated, and I should have finished the job I was given when I was sent to this planet years ago. As Deku was completely, just straight up in fear, saying to get off of me now, talking about you gonna kill the human race. What the hell's going on? As you would try to rip it off of him again and again and again, but it not working. Deku eventually coming to the realization that this thing wasn't gonna come off his back. As Deku would try to, ignore the voice. As the voice would start to pound on Deku's spine, or not, spine, but his head, the Scarab would have been yelling in his ear, it feeling like a huge 2 speakers are just planted on his earlobes. As Deku would have yelled out in pain, saying, "Stop, shut up!" The Scarab would have replied with, "You can't shut me up. I'm a part of you. I'm in your mind. I'm in your body. I am a part of you. Our bonding is already beginning. I'm laying all my embryos inside your body. Not embryos, but my cells. To heal you, to make you stronger. To make you strong enough to take in my full power. Not yet, I'm not strong enough to control you. But it seems like your willpower is too strong for me. With my damaged ability, I can't control you fully and take your willpower away from you. So I guess I have to work with you." This is pathetic. Me working with a mortal? A human? Deku would have said, "A human, really? What even are you?" As the Scare would have given him a little bit of a backstory on how much it knows of itself, as it was sent to this planet for some sort of reason of destruction, and also it's an alien technology device. It's made to conquer and destroy worlds, or prepare it to be destroyed or conquered. As Deku is completely in fear, saying, "Why are you bonded to me? And also, if you know my memories, you know I would never help you do anything like that." As the Scarab says, "Yes, I know. Surprisingly, I didn't get an evil human that would have helped me with this, but I want to make a proposition. Since I am stuck with your body, and majority, most likely the people that sent me to this planet to destroy it or conquer it, they haven't came yet. Meaning they may have given up on Earth. So, I will help you become a pro hero like some of your memories show me you want to become." As Deku would have been a little bit excited, as the Scarab would have said, "I know your heartbeat, skipped a little bit." As Deku would have said, "Shut up, I didn't." As the Scarab would have said, "I'm a part of you. I know every single vital in your body. You literally can't lie to me." As Deku said, "Whatever." As the Scarab would have replied with, "It's a lot I can do. A lot we can do together. If you just accept me, I can help you become a pro hero, and you can provide me your body to stay alive. Simple? Okay, good." So basically, the arrangement Deku and the Scarab would have made is the Scarab would have given Deku the power to become a pro hero. But the only caveat is the Scarab wanted Deku's body. The Scarab not showing its true intentions just yet, but saying it would want something from Deku in the future, but he couldn't say it yet. But it will give Deku the choice to become a pro hero and avenge the people who killed his father, as he did look over the memories that Deku had. So Scarab said he does not remember much about his planet's race and majority about if it's any more like him, but he does know one thing for certain: the people who killed his father were not human and did not possess any type of quirk. The technology they used was very much alien and reminded him of his powers. As Deku was told by the Scarab, as Deku would be motivated to become a hero, and pretty much going after that dream he had as a child. As Deku started training at Deku Beach, about a month to 2 months after, Deku would have gone to his father's funeral, About 2 months would have passed. Deku would have been training up Deku Beach and would have been almost done cleaning it up, as Deku would have attained a lot more abilities. As Deku would have been able to curate and manifest weapons from the Scarab on his arms without, pretty much summoning the whole Scarab suit, him being able to manifest arm cannons like in the thumbnail right now, also arm swords, blades, wings as well, and make them fly, propulsor blasts, and also laser cannons, and also being able to manifest huge cloud type swords like in the trailer of the Blue Beetle movie. Now, basically having all these abilities and all the basic powers and abilities the Scarab and the Blue Beetle Scarab has. Deku is incredibly somewhat OP, as also the Blue Beetle Scarab has a ability not most people know. It can absorb energy-based attacks, so anybody with an energy-based quirk is practically useless against Deku. So Deku's main ability is making weapons, flying, super strength, and super durability. Deku also can boost himself in speed and reaction time by the Scarab's help, and also the display system on his suit. Deku also has increased speed that he can, make boosters or blasters on the calves of his feet, kind of like Ida has those engines on the back of his feet. Deku can mimic that with his own powers, as he can literally just make whatever weapon, club, fist, or whatnot. He can literally make whatever he wants by his own imagination. His imagination is his limit. But enough of Deku's powers and abilities, as we'll be switching over to Deku afterwards he would train. Deku would have been training, pretty much doing all of his abilities, powers, as doing over the 10th arch rank, who would be introduced to the Blue Beetle's suit, as the Scarab would have taught him majority of the powers he has. Also telling him some weaknesses they do have is magic is one of the few weaknesses that could possibly penetrate their suit and armor, as anything else would either have to take a crap ton of a stupid amount of force to even dent their armor or make them feel a incredible amount of pain to penetrate the armor. Now, he would have told him, Jaimez, you are not completely and utterly invulnerable. You could still be hurt and damaged with a good amount of force, or if our guard is down. As well, Deku says, okay, I got it. We're durable, but we're not invincible. Got it. As Deku would have gotten ready for the entrance exams. As Deku would have walked in, him being excited that is going to be his first day to become a hero. His first step to avenge his father, become a hero, and find out the people who killed his father. As he would have been walking, eventually tripping. As he would have tripped, but the Scarab would have saved him by making, him just make propulsors on his chest. Him using the Scarab abilities, or the Scarab using his abilities to make jet cannons on his chest to push him pushing him up, as he would have seen a girl near him having her hands out, her saying, oh, sorry, I was going to use my quirk to make you float so you wouldn't fall down on the ground, but as Deku would have said, no, you're good, and thanks for the offer, or thanks for the help. As he would have talked to her, him talking to her, and eventually, telling her to go on the exam, as I hope you do good, and her saying the same thing, as she would have asked, what's your name? As Deku would have said, Izuku Midoriya. What's yours? As she would have said, Ochaka Uraka. Uraka Ochaka. Well, I don't know. Ochaka Uraka, I think that's the name. As she would have, kind of blushed a little bit, kind of liking Deku. As the Scarab would have said, are you attracted to that female? Your heart rate sped up, and your dopamine levels went up. As Deku would have said, shut up to the Scarab, as he would have walked off. As the Scarab says, you humans are so weird, but Deku making his way to the beginning of the entrance exams, as he would have done the written exam with flying colors being held by the Scarab, that the Scarab thought humanity's teaching system was very primitive, and honestly, the Scarab could do this in its sleep. As Deku said, do you even sleep? Saying, we're asking to the Scarab. The Scarab would have said, that's none of your business. As Deku would have scoffed, walking down the alley or walking down the walkway to the exam room, or the room they would have been telling everybody how the practical exam would work. as they tell them the ranking of the robots, how many points they would get if they take down this robot and that robot. Eventually, them being told to get ready, Deku getting ready, and summoning the blue beetle suit around his body. As everybody would look at him being hot and oohed, especially Ida, him being very interested at Deku's powers. As Deku gets ready, as pretty much he, the Scarab tells him to go in now because no one's stopping him. As Deku says we can't do that, as the Scarab insists that he does. As Deku is boosted through the floor, the sky. Jesus, I can't freaking talk. As Deku would have been boosted through the sky, going over the huge wall, basically getting there before anybody else. As Azawa would watch this from afar, being kind of impressed by the student knew what was going on. As Professor Mike says, "What are you guys doing? That guy got the memo. In a real fight, it is no countdowns. Go, go, go!" As everybody would have started to run and tumble over each other, trying to get into, well, the fake city. As Deku would have been flying around the city, sniping nearby robots from afar with his plasma shooters, or pretty much him manifesting plasma pistols, kind of like the iconic, laser guns, pretty much, I guess, I don't remember his name, the Looney Tune character, I can't remember his name, Asteroid Boy, I don't know, the guy that goes against Bugs Bunny multiple times. As Deku would try to just shoot robots from afar, sniping them and going all around the fake city, building up a lot of points from afar. Him saving some people from gunfire by other robots that actually had some sort of rubber bullets. In this cannon, had some sort of rubber bullet projectiles, as he would have saved some people from nearby rubble and shots, and also him flying around the city, basically saving a lot of people. Eventually, him seeing the zero pointer as he was about to fly off. The Scarab saying there was no real point at taking down this, well, robot, as it would not give them anything to gain, as it would be unnecessary force to exert. Deku about to fly off as he would have heard a girl scream, him seeing Ochaku underneath the rubble. As he would have flew over there, the Scarab saying, "What are you doing? We do not save this human. It will not give us no fame, no fortune." And Scarab would have at last minute said, "Maybe the calculations are off. Maybe you might get some points by saving this pathetic, worthless human." As Deku would have said, "Stop saying that. Not all humans are pathetic." As Deku would have flew down, Scarab would have said, "You're just saying that because you like her and you want to mate with this human." As Deku would have said, "No, shut up," as he would have been flustered underneath the mask. As Deku would have pushed off the rubble with relative ease off of Ochako's body, grabbing her, saying, "We're going to get out of here." Right before Deku looked up, the Scarab told him, "Watch out," as the robot was about to step on them. As Deku would have manifested a huge Generator Rex type shield and an elongated arm to pretty much push the robot's foot off of them, making the robot tumble over and fall on its back. As Deku would have flew off, basically making Ochaku kind of dizzy, but him pretty much easing her and making a soft landing, telling her to get better, as he would have left her in the care of Recovery Girl. Deku flying back out into the city as he will try to take down more points. Eventually, him taking down more pointers, and eventually the whole exam stopping, saying, "We're done for the day, and exam results will come in later at your home." As Deku would have regretfully neglect, the scale would have told him that we need to go, as the points he racked up by count, they should definitely get into this school you call UA. As Deku would have said, "Cool." As Deku would have flew home, him passing by a lot more pro heroes, no one really seeing him use his power outside of school, as everybody thought it was a quirk. Now, Deku would have been laying in bed, as eventually his mom would have burst in his room, saying, "Your note from UA came." As Deku opens the note, saying that he got in, is a hologram saying that he got in, as it would have self-destructed, as Deku would have been very much excited by this. Next couple days before Deku would have gotten ready to go to UA, Deku would have been given some sort of forms he had to fill out, a hero suit. As Deku would have said, "Where's there gonna be our, costume or hero suit?" As well, the Scarab replies with, "I don't really need one. Our armor is the most optical and most optimal suit and abilities we need." As Deku would have said, "Abilities we need, that makes no sense." The Scarab saying doesn't need to make sense. You humans are pathetic insignificant creatures that have no meaning to Earth and are honestly destroying your own planet. As Deku would have told him to shut up, as he didn't want to hear all of his philosophical beliefs, how he hates humans so much, but he doesn't even remember humans that much. As Deku would have told him to shut up, Scarab would have yelled at him, saying, "You dare tell me to shut up, human? You got a complete and utter wrong idea of the situation. I'm helping you. You're not helping me. So don't tell me to shut up, you pathetic meatbag." As Deku would have just told him to keep it quiet as he's trying to think. As the Scarab would have said, "For our hero costume, we don't need one. I'm your hero costume. I am your crutch. I'm giving you this, well, whatever you want to call it, hero life. I am your hero costume. Say you have a quirk that gives you one, as you heroes say, quirks or whatever. I don't really see, just call them abilities. As Deku would have said, doesn't matter, they're called quirks in my society. So Deku would have said that his quirk is his hero costume. As Deku says, is it really, optimal for me to rely on you the most? What if someone breaks down your defenses? As the Scarab with, confidence says, no one can break down my defenses. No one. As the Scarab would have seemed a little bit hesitant. As Deku would have said, what was that hesitation I sensed? The Scarab says he didn't sense anything. As Deku just goes on, as his quirk would have been registered as a mutation quirk, as well, he says his mutation quirk, he is a quirk he can manifest around his body, giving him a suit of armor and abilities to shapeshift multiple different weapons that are organically made out of his body, something like that. As Deku says, that's his quirk. As Scarab says, it's a little bit far off, but it is some stupidly weird and exotic quirks and abilities in your world that this could be believable. As the Scarab does see Deku's creativity very impressive, but the Scarab's still saying he's a useless flesh bag that he's stuck to. As the Scarab would have just told him that you need to sleep as your body needs that sleep, as he'll be working on a strategy for the first day of UA. As Deku goes to sleep the next day, waking up, getting ready for UA. As Deku would have walked into class 1A, as he would have been really excited, as he would have walked in, and he would have been looking around, as eventually he would have seen everybody in the class looking at him, and basically not really seeing him as standing out at all, as they would have just gone back to them talking. As Deku would have walked around the class, him sitting and finding his seat, as he would have seen Bakugo from afar. As Bakugo would have gotten up, walking towards him, saying, "What the hell? Why are you here?" "Worthless Bakugo," Deku would have said, as Deku would have been confused on how he said that, as the Scarab would have said that sometimes he can make Deku say things. As Deku is completely shocked by this, him whispering to himself that is not cool. As Bakugo is confused, saying, "What did you call me? Worthless what?" As Deku said, "Nothing, nothing, you pathetic, insolent meatbag, you petty little micro-penis bit." As Deku would have closed his mouth, basically being completely shocked at what the Scarab's telling him to say or making him say. As Deku would have gotten pissed off, as Bakugo would have gotten even more pissed, as Deku would have seen Bakugo charge up an explosion, getting closer to him, as the Scarab would have acted on defense, him manifesting his suit around his body, him pushing Bakugo down to a nearby chair, and the Scarab manifesting a huge sword, bringing it up against Deku, as he would have had it on his back, basically like a sword type pose, as he would have taken his sword off his back, pointing it towards Bakugo's chin, as he would have said that you made another move, I'll slit your throat. As the Scarab would have said, that's all I have, and I can't really mess with your, sound box or brain even further before I damage it. I can't really make you say anything anymore. As the Scarab is out for the day, as he can't say or make Deku say anything now, as he only has a few limitations. He has a limitation or a limit to how many times he can make Deku say what he wants to say. As Deku is relieved that he won't be saying anything more or saying anything out of pocket that he doesn't have control over. As Aizawa wakes up, As Deku would have seen Aizawa getting up, as he would have instantly turned off his quirk, as Bakugo would have gotten up, picking himself up, basically looking at Aizawa, him being pissed off and staring, giving Deku a death stare. I mean, freaking hating this dude, looking dead at him. As we would see, well, Aizawa would have looked at the class, telling them that you were asking them, so you're going to be the new class of UA, this new generation of heroes. I wouldn't say I'm impressed, but first glances aren't the best to base people off of. So today, well, you guys will go downstairs to the gym uniforms and get ready for quirk assessments. You guys may be here by the, well, exam or entrance exams, but me personally, I need to see hand first. As we would have seen Deku get a little bit scared, but the Scarab telling him we got this in the bag or have this under control. As we would have seen Deku getting ready in the locker room, as Bakugo and a lot of students would have noticed Deku's Scarab on his back as he would have taken off his shirt. As Kirishima notices that and says, "Bro, what is that?" As Deku would have said, "It's my quirk, a mutation quirk. It makes me make a suit of armor on my body." As Kirishima says, "So that's the thing that allows you to make that cool set of armor we saw earlier in class? Dude, that was awesome." As he would have said it was so manly. As Deku would have been kind of weirded out. Scarab saying this man or this human might be homosexual. As pretty much Deku would have said shut up, as we were seeing Deku getting ready. Deku getting ready and walking down to, well, the gym area, or like the open field. As everybody would have been told by Aizawa that I want to see you head first, and I want to see how much you guys can dish out. See if you're really worthy of being in Class 1A, of you being the next generation of heroes. As Deku would have gotten ready and get real pumped for this. As Bakugo would be told to throw the ball first, Deku seeing this and Bakugo grabbing the ball, looking at Deku, and he would have threw all of his force into this ball throw, making it about 2 to 3 times higher than his original throw in canon. As he would have looked down, Deku staring him down, literally having the look of straight up wanting to murder Deku. I mean dead ass. He looked like he was finning to murder Deku in his sleep. Just lunge at Deku at any time, any moment. As the Scarab would have realized this, saying that I could eliminate him right here and now. As Deku would have said, we would get hunted down the police and the heroes if we just killed somebody right here on the spot on UA grounds. As the Scarab would have said, fair enough. But with my skills and the powers we have, we could take down all the pro heroes on the premises. As he did say, he did a little quick scan before we walk into the class of the whole building, as it is some pro heroes by the database and, well, the DNA in their systems, their weight, their height, and the powers they give off through their bloodstream. I can tell what people's quirks are because of simple math and also technology and scanners I have on my body. As Deku says, so you can literally scan a whole building in a matter of seconds. As Scarab says, yes, it takes a lot of my power though. That's why I could do it, because we weren't functioning, we didn't have the suit on. As Deku says, cool to know. As we were seeing Deku get ready. As the Scarab told him we had to do our best in his ball throw. Before Deku threw his ball throw, we was seeing Zero, Enki, and Mina talk about everything, as this is going to be really easy and really cool and fun, that we're going to be able to use our quirks as much as we want. As Aizawa hears this and says, oh, fun, cool. You think becoming the next heroes of this world, save people's lives, is going to be fun? You know what? For this, you will have to be working your very hardest. The person with the lowest score is going to be expelled. As Mina says, wait, that isn't fair. As Chaku says, yes, this isn't fair. That's not fair. Like, we still worked very hard to get into UA. You can't just take that away from us. Even if it wasn't the first day, we worked hard to get here. As well, Aizawa says, well, you worked hard, but the world isn't fair. Drastic events, people dying, people being killed, parents being taken away from their children, that isn't fair. Villains killing multiple hundreds of thousands of people every year, that isn't fair. So why should this be fair? as Aizawa shuts up Oshaku, telling the class to get ready as Deku would have thrown the ball. As Deku would have chucked the ball at full speed, giving it its all, or giving him its all, as he would have enveloped the suit around his body before he chucked the ball, making a pretty good throw, almost throwing it out of the atmosphere, as Deku got a pretty good throw. As we were seeing the long jump, Deku would have aced it perfectly by using some sort of propeller type power or construct on his feet, also using his super strength to boost himself higher. For the race, Deku getting pretty fast, getting about second to third place, with him propulsing or blasting himself forward with huge jets he would have manifested on the back of his body, kind of like Generator Rex type stuff. For the ball throw, they would have done a throw like a weight ball throw to know how much meters they can chuck it. That could have made a pretty good score, about 16, 17 feet. As we were seeing, they got a pretty good score. Now for the Riptide strength, Deku basically being able to manifest the Scarab's armor only on his left arm, him getting a pretty good score on the grip test strength, getting the top score. And eventually, overall, Deku's score, him getting the top score, as we were seeing Deku would have gotten a pretty good score. Before the test would have been out, they were doing the toe curls, the sit-ups and everything like that. They would have gotten a pretty good score overall, them getting top tier. But after all the exercises would be over, and after all the tests would have been over, Deku would have gotten about second, near third place. As we would have seen, the Scarab would have said that we were inefficient, and next time we will definitely get first place, and next time we will win. As Deku says, it's not that deep. As the Scarab says, yes, it is that deep. If you're going to become a hero, I might as well want to go to be the best of the best. As Deku kind of smiles on this and says, yeah, maybe we will be the best of the best. The Scarab says, no, we will. Not maybe, we will. See Aizawa give everybody the, pretty much syllabus before they go, telling everybody to get ready for tomorrow, as there will be something waiting for them. As everybody's kind of shocked by this, as Aizawa walks away from them, as we would see Deku would have walked to the station, him being meted up by, Ida. As he would have seen Ida, as he would have looked at Ida's calves, seeing his power doing the race, as he would have said that would be pretty cool to mimic, as the Scarab would have replied with yes, as pretty much Deku says, you could hear what I'm thinking. As the Scarab says, you were thinking out loud, you were whispering to yourself. I can't know what you're thinking. As Deku is sigh of relief, as Aizawa, or not Aizawa, but pretty much Ida says, copy what? As Deku basically says that maybe his quirk he can copy or mimic the mechanical powers his calves or his quirk gives him. As Ida says, that would be cool. Two speed heroes working together. That would making fighting crime as a duo, both of us, a very much faster, stronger. We would be unstoppable. As he would have done his whole, chopping thing. As Deku would have said, cool. As they would have been meted up by Uraka. As the Scarab would have said, ugh, this mortal again. Do you want me to help you with this? As Deku said, no. I'm cool. As he would have looked at Ochaku and would have started to talk to her. As they would have started to talk to each other, the whole friend group, pretty chill, pretty okay conversation. Deku would have gotten off the bus or the train as he would have said goodbye to them as he would have walked home. And Deku would have been walking home as he would have heard some sort of rattling in the bushes, as he would have looked around. And so it would have been dead silence. Deku looking around into the corners, and the Scarab said that he sensed something very dangerous near coming ahead. Deku pretty much manifests the armor around his body, him manifesting two plasma pulsers as he would have started to aim anywhere. Him trying to figure out where that noise is coming from and who was watching them. As out of nowhere, we would have heard a huge crackling noise in the alleyway near them. As Deku would have looked around, as he would have seen a hooded figure in the corner of the alleyway. It whispering to Deku saying, "We found you." As the Scarab looks and is very scared, saying, "I remember that voice from somewhere. I can't remember it vividly, but I know that voice. That's the voice of death." as Deku was completely scared, as the Scarab tells him to get all defenses up and to get ready, stay sturdy, and stay your ground. As the Scarab looks closer, telling Deku to get ready, as the hooded figure laughs, saying, "I'm not here for you just yet, but I'll be coming soon with the others." As the Scarab watches closely, as this hooded figure just teleports, as the Scarab is confused of what's going on. The Scarab telling Deku that I do not know who that man was, or what that thing was, but I do know that voice from somewhere. I don't remember the vase, don't remember the face, don't remember the memories, but I do remember one thing, the feeling of that voice, hearing it. It brought me with pure and utter terrifying. I felt powerless when I heard that voice. As Deku is completely scared, that the Scarab, the only thing he knows that is very powerful, that can literally decimate complete and utter alleyways and destroy even heroes and pro heroes he looks up to, like Carmel Woods, with a single blast, as he does know the limitations of the Scarab's powers, as it is able to destroy planets, as it has stated before, or basically decimate planets with full power. As Deku is scared for his life. As we're gonna leave out here, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a blessed day. Deuces.